Hi, everyone. So Brian Tracy said, peak performance is you taking responsibility of everything that happens in your life. Welcome to Crushing It After Claremont, 3 practical steps to peak performance. I'd like to thank the Forum of the Future committee members for recognizing leaders and knowing how important it is for leaders to make their dreams come true, and the people's as well. Thanks to our speakers before me who are talking about YOLO, who are talking about important things and making their dreams come true. And lastly, I'd also like to thank you guys out there, the visionaries, and who have the bravado and the courage to really acknowledge your own dreams and making those come true as well. So can I tell you a little bit about myself and why I am so passionate about peak performance? Yeah. So right now, I help highly ambitious professionals reach another level of success through different coaching practices and coaching things. But it wasn't always like this. Right now, I'm traveling around the world. I just did 3 continents. And, it wasn't always like this. 5 years ago, I was sitting in these seats in Claremont McKenna Auditorium, and I was totally confused. I was doing 3 majors, which turned into EEP, and doing a lot of FOMO, YOLO stuff, and all those lows. And to be honest, I didn't really know what exactly I was meant to do. And I knew that deep down inside, there was always this one thing that I really could bring out and share with the rest of the world, but I didn't know what form it could take. And that sort of drove me into finding out different passions and going into digital marketing and corporate advertising. And it wasn't until the passing of my grandparents that I realized that, hey, life is short. And I asked myself these questions. I kind of imagined myself on the deathbed, and that was kind of the moment that really woke me up. And I look back at my life and I think, if I were to die tomorrow, did my life matter? Did I do the things that I wanted to do? And did I make a difference? And I think that's what makes so different. So the intentions that I have for you guys today is that I'll give you everything that I have within the next 10 minutes. And if you guys want to stay connected, there's also a way to do that. The core message that I want to send to you guys is dream big. Bigger than you can ever imagine, beyond the biggest big that you can think of right now. What is that dream that you have? And then go get those resources that could forward that dream one step at a time. Because it's never about resources that you're missing, money, time, busyness. It's never about that, right? It's about the resourcefulness that you have. So I want you to turn to the person next to you and say, high five, dream big, and get those resources. Yeah. So where you are today, some of you guys are doing amazing things. I've just talked to a bunch of you, and you're doing things that you love. Some of you might be in a job that you're super good at, extremely well prepared for, and just killing it. And some of you might not know what exactly your dream and your passions are. But that's all okay. But what it is that you want to find, and maybe deep down inside, you want to find out what it is that you have inside of you that you can bring out even more. And how can you impact even more people and really flourish and express yourself in the fullest way possible. And there's 3 ways to do that, and that's what I'll share in the next 3 steps. So 3 practical steps to peak performance. The first step is know your dream behind the dream. And what that means is that it's not about, okay, well, this is the dream, I'm going to go for it right away. It's kind of like, after knowing what that dream is and imagining that dream, what is that thing that's behind that? What does that accomplish? What does getting that dream give you? There's a story about a fisherman and an entrepreneur. It was, it's a vacation time, and this entrepreneur who is a promoted grad, MBA of, Stanford or Harvard, comes along and goes on vacation and sees this fisherman who's in Costa Rica rowing his little boat. He sets out every day in the morning at 4 a.m. He goes all the way to the sea and gets fish and brings it back to his family with his friends and things like that. And the promoter guy comes along and he says, dude, this business, your fish is amazing. This business could totally could grow. You could get more fish, more boats, more people, and you could really grow this business. And he says, yeah, okay, great. That sounds interesting. So what happens after that? And then the entrepreneur goes, after that, maybe you can go even bigger. You can get an app and you can fly to San Francisco and start a company there and create a way to fish all the fish in that area and grow your business tenfold it, 10x it. And he goes, all right, that sounds interesting, but I won't be able to spend time with my family and all, but what happens after that? And he goes, and then after that, you can get an island somewhere in this beautiful place. You can buy a little boat, and then you can fish there. And then you can also hang out with your family, your friends, and people like that. And the fisherman says, that's already what I have right now. So knowing and having clarity of that dream behind the dream and knowing your reasons for doing something really matters. And so you can be responsible for that, for your peak performance. Step number 2. Every single day, you could and should tell someone in your life about your dream, someone who has the resources to make that come true. And when I say that, I mean have the resources, because you may be telling someone who doesn't have the resources for them to come to help you make them come true, and that might not affect you really well. So for example, if I want to tell someone that, the next thing I want to do is create an app that automates coaching, that makes it completely accessible, that is machine learning based and, kind of like a Pandora for coaching, I wouldn't go and tell that to people who wouldn't really get that. So when you can know what your dream is and tell it to someone who can give you or share with you the resources that they have on an article or something like that, that would really help you. And at the same time, when your friends tell you their dreams, be of service to them too. Give them an article, give them something that could really help them move that little step forward. So surrounding yourself with dream builders who can forward your dream with the resources that they have is something that's amazing. Third point is to take action. How many times in your life have you wanted to do something, but you just never did it? I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to be this person, I want to be an astronaut. As a kid, you want all these things. How many of those things actually have come true? Taking action is like a muscle in your body. You exercise it. And the more action you take, the more likelihood that you have that relationship with yourself to garner that trust between yourself that when you tell yourself you're going to do something, that action happens. There's 5 frogs on this log, right? Imagine that. And they're 5 little frogs, big frogs, little frogs, whatever, and they're sitting on this log with this beautiful stream running through the bottom. And one of the frogs says to the other frog, let's go take a dip inside, let's go hop off. So 4 of them decided that they want to jump in to the water and the stream and see where it leads. So how many frogs are left on the log? So there are still 5 frogs left on the log because 4 decided to jump off. You can make a decision on something, but you can still not act. So action is important, and the third point, and action is critical, and be responsible for that when you're thinking of your peak performance. So if any of this has any resonation with you, and you are moved by this, and you know that you want yourself to also explore what it is that is your own peak performance, Mike and I are actually offering you guys, the action takers, a peak performance strategy session. And you can see it on your forms, on your chairs. That's where you can sign up and fill it out. You can leave them on the chairs, and we'll be at the back as well to collect them. And we can work through these 3 questions with you. And also, if you sign up on the list, we'll also give you more questions to ask yourself in this area. So dream big, know your dream behind the dream, surround yourself with people who are dream builders who can build your dream for you, and take action. Next up, I'd like to invite Mike, who is an amazing entrepreneur, a friend, and also a coach. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ying. Hey guys, how's it going? So you've all heard the cliche that college is some of the best times of your life. Can I see by round of applause if Claremont was some of the best times of your life? Could you just give it up? Awesome. Now, raise your hand if you're happier today than you were at Claremont as a student. Just a few hands. Raise your hand if you're not happier today than you were as a student at Claremont. Okay, a few hands. A lot of people didn't get the question or are confused, so I'm going to just do it one more time. If you're happier today than you were at Claremont, raise your hand. Don't be shy. If you're not, that's okay too. Raise your hand. Well, then you're neutral. We broke even. And please stand if your life right now is the best it's ever been. Like life has never been better. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. All right, guys. So that's why we call the talk "Crushing It After" or "Crushing Life After Claremont," because we want to challenge the idea that your best years are behind you. You know, they don't have to be. The best times of your life could be every day. They could be, you know, for the rest of your days. So, you know, after Claremont, I entered a indentured servitude with corporate America, and I was pretty miserable working my 12-hour shift. I wasn't fulfilled. So I sought answers. I looked for people who were having the best times of their life, and I looked for their advice. I did a lot of research, and I'm proud to say that I found the answer to living the best life ever, and I want to share that with you guys today. So you guys ready for that? So the secret to living the best life ever: decide that you want to live the best life ever. I'm going to say that again to let it sink in. I know that's very profound. The secret to living the best life ever: decide that you want to live the best life ever. Right? So let's break that down a little. There's 3 parts to that. Decide that you want to live the best life ever. And I'm going to begin with the end in mind, so let's work backwards. The best life ever. What does that mean to you? You can only achieve that if you have a lot of clarity on what that actually means and what that looks like for you. And the way to get there is to do some soul searching and ask yourself some of the tough questions. What are my values? Who am I? How do I want to contribute to the world? What legacy do I want to leave? These might sound like big, tough questions, but I assure you the answers are already inside you. You just have to tease them out. 2, to live. That's an action verb, and Ying mentioned you have to take action on this stuff. Just deciding isn't going to get you there. You have to be proactive and make it happen. Now, 1, decide that you want. Have you guys ever decided that you want something? What usually happens? You know, I'm willing to bet that because you're all talented, ambitious CMCers, more often than not, when you decide you want something, you get it. Am I right? Right? So I'm willing to guess that if you decide that you want to live the best life ever, and you take action and actually define that desired outcome, you will get there. Okay? So the next step, which I think is especially important for really talented, ambitious people like CMCers, is you have to give yourself permission to be successful. You have to remind yourself that you deserve, you know, the Henry Kravis legendary status of success. Why? Because YOLO, right? You know, this is your one chance at life, and you deserve to live a life of happiness, success, and abundance. So give yourself permission to get there, because if you don't, if you feel like you're not worthy or you don't deserve it, you're never going to get there. And the last bit of wisdom I want to leave you with is one of my favorite CMC mantras that I still think about all the time: Puck Famona. Just kidding, that's not it. Any former Stags or Athenas in the room? Do you guys remember We Share Success? The little bumper stickers. All the football bros had the We Share Success bumper sticker, and I really find that that's true. You know, in my work, I get to help people achieve whatever their definition of success is, and, you know, their idea of the best life ever. And I think we have a very unique community here, and because we're so small, under 13,000 alums, you know, everything you do, you're a steward of this school, you're a leader of this community, and your success is Claremont's success, and ultimately that all feeds into all of the resources and capabilities that we all have together. So if you're interested in, finding the next level of your success or sharing your success story, I'd love to hear it. So I invite you to have a conversation with me and tell me all about it. And if I could be helpful, then I'd really love the chance. I love coaching Claremont folks because you guys get shit done. So easy clients. But thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time.